So I don't even need StreamYard.
I think.
Yeah. This way people.
Yeah, because apparently it should be connected to the thing.
Yeah.
Yep, we're live on YouTube.
We are live on YouTube.
Be careful what you say. You're live on YouTube.
Everybody, we're live on YouTube.
Live on YouTube.
You can be seen.
I know there's some really cool stuff we can do with banners.
Maybe we can come back and forth.
Yeah.
We, Mike, we are live. So everything you're saying is going out right away.
Loving good things.
I can type in there.
Yeah. I'd say start with you because you're the person who's
I know it's you. Just stop there for a minute. I want to check to see what it looks like.
Jack, you want Jack? Okay.
I want to check to see if we have like film in for now.
Like, oh my God.
Just hang out here. Just one second. No, wait, she's not starting. She's just taking a look. How does it look? Hi, Martha.
Hi,
Come
everybody.
by.
We're just checking out the live stream.
In front of the camera. We're checking out the camera.
Yeah.
So she looks a little small on.
I look small because it's a box this big.
Yeah.
Hey, we're live streaming right now, by the way. So if you don't say your passwords out loud or your social security number, because there's no one watching. But if they were, I don't know they're not all 10 people that are making sure they watch this thing at 7 o'clock. So can
we move some people?
Yeah. Because I think maybe if we move the tripod.
Okay. All right. Just make sure we have so much space. Okay.
So.
Room.
Okay. Yeah, and hold on. Could you go up there to because I move the tripod.
Okay.
That would make it a bit better.
Hiya. We are live. We're just setting up the camera. We are live. So whatever you say.
There's so many things.
Grab the
You need them because you need to know about all these folks.
We can move the laptop too.
Because I'm not giving away anything. Hey Terry, we have programs underneath on the clipboard.
You're just moving. I think this is looking a lot better.
Okay, good.
Everything is just standing.
We can move it from the 3 quarters if you want.
Everything's. Who's seen the movie Everything Everywhere All at Once?
No, I not yet.
Yes.
Not yet.
Then I won't say a word about how amazing it is and that you must go. And I won't make a reference to the spiritual and magical and scientific. Hello, my love. How good to see you. Hello, my loves. All of my loves. I'm gonna go down there and we're doing this live streaming thing, so that's why we're figuring out how now they're moving it around.
All the wires. Yep, it's back here. Yep.
Good.
Sorry.
Do you need us to move something?
Yes, we may have to. Yeah.
Yeah. Might have to move you to either the left or the right.
And then we have to pull right here.
There's a space right here.
Thank you, guys. Thank you very much.
And don't worry, we're not going to Fenway Park you.
Do what?
At Fenway Park, in Massachusetts, there's sometimes just seats that are right in front of poles, so you can't see anything going on.
Okay, wait.
Oh shoot, sorry. Yeah, I think this shot angle is a lot better. Oh. Yeah.
And I'll be here. Do we need to turn this?
I'm probably just going to be over there for the music section, so then I can just run back. Yeah, I can run back to your top.
Wire.
I'm going this way. Yeah. If we could get Jude just up on the stage again.
David, you stand behind the mic?
Stand behind the mic, smile, you're on camera.
Test. One,
Yes.
two. Test. So.
Oh, hold it, Terry, wait.
This is a bit too up. Let's see, maybe is there, do you know how to like move the camera down a little bit? Like angle it down? Would it be like taking, loosening this and lowering the arm? Well, of course.
Okay, let's tighten it. Just hold it up here so it doesn't. Okay, ready? Just gonna move. There we go. What do you think?
Yeah. Yeah. Looking at that. Yeah, that looks better.
Okay, tighten it up.
Tighten it up.
Tighten it up. Okay.
David, can you please? What do you need?
Yep, that's perfect.
We're good.
Yep.
Well, that's.
Yeah, I think that's a good angle.
Okay, you too.
Pretty powerful.
Garbage trap. Can I add? I want to add. Is that the one you just? That's a little bit. Okay, yeah. Yeah.
Did everybody get a water? Everybody needs your water?
Hi, Nick. No, I have one, thank you.
Okay.
Oh, I wanted to write, I can look,
You have a 200 characters.
yeah, okay. Maybe I shouldn't put the address then. There's a,
Yeah, I got one.
in Port Jefferson, New York.
And I think that would look really good as a kicker where it's constantly running at the bottom.
Oh, which part? Oh, where it is?
Yeah, all of this.
Oh, just put the title here?
No, just this entire thing would look good as a kicker because that way the information is constantly.
Okay, so how do we make it bigger? Oh, scroll across the bottom.
Just scroll across the bottom.
Ah,
where it's
cool.
saved,
Oh, okay.
and then you can click then you can just click this and look at it.
So right now?
Yeah, just click it. to
Show.
show.
Jack, you're amazing.
Sorry.
That's okay.
Yeah, and then you could create a banner and you can one each of the names of the speakers that means you can cause them to show up when they're talking so people know who they are.
Right. The thing is, I'm not sure about the order because I'm not sure if Jameer's gonna make it by, so can I do that during the show?
Yeah, you can do that during the show.
Okay.
It's just you can have them preset because you know how you click show to make this happen. You can
Yeah.
do that for each one.
All right.
Like for these two example ones, you can click it to show it or to
It's a
unshow.
good learning experience for everybody. This is good.
Where'd it go?
But we could get cooking banners, you can put that in the comments.
Put my phone number on this just in case anything.
Oh, thank you.
Host. Hey, Tracy, what's the name of the show you host again?
I'm sorry?
What's the name of the show that you host?
The one that Ronna and I host is just one more thing.
Should I put that in the banner?
Sure.
Underneath your name? Okay, just one more thing.
Yep.
Just one more.
So, do I add this? So where should I set this?
Just click add banner, because,
Okay, so,
and then you can click show, or you can click show to make it show up, and you can click it off.
but I'll show it when she's,
Yeah, when she's.
performing,
Yeah.
right. Okay, I'll add,
Yeah, and then you can do Terry, you can do yourself, you can do.
There's another one. Oh, this is FedEx.
Are they on like a cycle?
Yeah, the mode. What do you decide? You can feel it. The knee bone. Yeah.
oh, wait, I need to close my. I feel like
Yeah, right, that's right, yeah.
So I guess it's just kind of like,
Yeah, he is.
I know this would like make the first much.
You do like a head.
Well, streaming services do have. Well, the
It's growing in his beard.
Oh, yeah, I am so sorry. Terribly sorry. Terribly sorry. Yeah, I was just looking at this.
And Netflix and.
I was just rotating. I thought it was cool. I didn't know if it was like also changing like.
It charges up from the bottom up.
Battery.
Oh, yeah?
The rechargeable.
Learn about
We had it.
Teach us about this. How you approach that.
Okay, so this is all the, oh, I'll add a banner. We have Terry, they want to talk about the, sorry.
So we're what?
the station do like I have this really on my phone. Never all audio is coming through. But yeah, you can go.
All right. Make sure everyone here has their water. The waters are up front, please. Very good.
Tell us a story, Nick. Nick, tell us a story. Come
I have a
on.
story to tell you, but not tonight.
Oh, come on. You always say that.
I could be talked into one.
You should. And you have witnesses now.
So you
Yeah,
can get.
the stream audio seems pretty good. Yeah, like from that, yeah, because the microphone ears is on where it's all coming in. So like obviously everything is supposed to be amplified, but the volume there. Just speakers.
Okay, we're getting close to showtime.
It's been 2 years since
We haven't done this in 2 years. I know. I haven't seen you in 2 years. Now we're back. Do you need to work with a mic? You need a flashlight still?
there's a lamp, but I can borrow the flash.
Okay.
I won't break any more rules today. Sorry about the first one.
You get away with it. That's why I told you to see it.
I get the one misstep.
Even though it's not.
So, leaving it on.
I get it. So it's 7:03 now, so I think we can.
So some people.
No.
We should start that.
Yeah, I'll go.
So you just, we'll start the song when I say, when I say, we're the only show that has, there's a lot of different stuff, but the usual, I'll say.
Theme song.
That's the key.
Everybody can hear the lights.
Oh, he gets back. All right, he's back. I'll pop up for a while. Oh, that would be it's easy to do.
What is happening? We are back at the Performing Arts Studio. But first, thank you. Oh my God, you guys! Yes! Oh, my soul is renewed. We are back here. It's been since February of 2020, which, oh my gosh, yes. And what a treat to see you guys come to Port Jefferson. And let me tell you, the heroic feat of finding a parking spot in Port Jefferson, and you have achieved that tonight, an Olympian feat, and I admire you, and I thank you for taking on something like that after everything we've been through. So guys, we are live streaming this show, so if anyone is watching, hey, these guys are in the room. They're in the space, the room where it's happening, and we're happening. And I do want to introduce the co-founder and co-director of the Performing Arts Studio to say a few words about this space. So please welcome to the stage, Terry Morrissey.
Hi, everybody. Welcome to the Performing Arts Studio. Just a little bit about the studio. We are going into our 26th year. Thank you. I want to mention Deborah and Michael Livering, who the three of us saw this vision, and we're so happy that we've been here. What we do is we offer classes for children through adults. We have voice classes for adults, adult acting classes, and many, many children's musical theater classes. You can look at our website, or it's the Performing Arts Studio of New York, our phone number, you look it up. And this summer we have a full day theater camp going on. We have part-time classes in the early evening for our younger ones. And then come September, we start up again with our full season. So thank you so much. We love that you're here. Welcome.
And how can people contact the Performing Arts Studio? And do we have any information about that? If they want to enroll their kids?
Go on nyperformingarts.com.
nyperformingarts.com. If you have a child who wants to have the most amazing teachers in their lives, that person is Terry Morrissey and Deborah Living, her partner, and Michael. They're amazing. Well, so I'm Jude Treder-Wolff. I created, oh, thank you. Yes, let's bring it to me. Oh my God. I don't need it. I don't need your applause. I don't go, yay Jude for holding out and trying again and cheering me. I don't need that. I mean, what kind of person would need that from people sitting there looking up like, oh, I'm above you? What kind of ego, needy, just drivelly human person would demand that of people? More, like even more. I'd be ashamed to be that sort of soul, and I'm not. But thank you for, again, your heroic feat of arriving here and choosing to share your time with us here tonight. We think you've made an excellent choice. We have a wonderful lineup of storytellers, and it is just, fills my heart with hope that we're actually in this space again, because when the pandemic first started, I don't know, anybody feel like at the beginning of the thing you said, I'm gonna let this experience change me as a person? Did anybody say that to themselves? No? Nobody? Oh my gosh. I said, I'm gonna be trapped in my home and not be able to see people, and I'm going to value every interaction I have with people, and I'm just going to get over myself. I'm not going to be neurotic, this neurotic, anxious person that I am, especially neurotic about clothes. I could be very neurotic about my hair. Come on, your hair during the pandemic, that was no joke. And I said, I'm not going to be like that anymore, because I would have a backup outfit for my backup outfit going anywhere. That's how neurotic I could be. And it's not a perfectionism thing. It's like, I'm just barely going to make the cut kind of feeling. And that neurosis, I thought, that's over. The pandemic is not going, it's not going to survive the pandemic. I don't need this way of being so worried about myself all the time. I'm not going to sweat it if I sit in traffic. I'm not going to count how many people respond to a class or a workshop I'm offering. I'm going to say, I'm going to be happy for the people that show up, and I'm not going to check the phone every 5 minutes to see if someone registered again, the minute I put something out there. And 2 years and how many months have gone by, and I changed my clothes, no joke, 18 times before we came here tonight. I've aged 2 and something years. I'm thinking, I'm so neurotic. I'm still very neurotic. But what I'm not is ungrateful. I'm extremely grateful. And I'm extremely grateful to every single one of you for choosing to spend time with us here tonight. And especially for these storytellers coming all the way out, some travel was involved in coming to this show tonight. So these guys, as you can see in the bios in the program, perform quite a bit. There are storytelling shows of all kinds around the country, really. New York has loads of storytelling shows. But this one's a little bit different. This show is a little bit unique. We have a game that's wrapped into this storytelling show. And I'm going to explain the game, but I also want to say we're the only storytelling show that I know that has its own theme song. We tell true stories, but we bend the truth just a little bit. It's not that different from things that we say in life. Just, I don't know how many things we say all the time, every day. Like, how often do you say, just to cover yourself, I'm sorry I'm late. I left work at 7. I'll be there by 10. No, make that 11. The fault is all mine. I lost track of time. It's not you, it's me. I speak from my heart. You know that what I'm telling you is true. For the most part. I mean, it's kind of a life skill when you think about it. I mean, think about it, how many times those terms and conditions, they're okay by me. Well, of course I read them before I clicked agree. I'll text. Can't wait till I see you next. It's not you, it's me. I speak from my heart. I swear that what I'm telling you is true. For the most part. I'm not done. 'Cause sometimes you don't come right out with the truth. You leave out a detail or 2 or 5 or 6, 'cause sometimes you can't come right out with the truth. You can hurt someone's feelings. You can piss off your No, you gotta finesse sometimes. You just, I can't remember the lyrics, honestly, I can't. What's the last verse? When you're sitting with your drunk uncle at Thanksgiving dinner and you nod your head like you agree. I'm making this up. I can't remember the song. It's not you, it's me. I speak from my heart. You know that what I'm telling you, you know I'd never lie to you, and everything I'm telling you is true. For the most part. Totally improvised the last verse because I went blank. And that's what happens when you live stream. And that's what happens when you live stream, or you do something, when you add something new to your routine, you lose something else in your routine. Like the third verse of a song that you wrote and have been singing for 7 years. Anyway, thank you so much for that. Anyway, so here is the deal. You're going to hear 4 true stories. They are true. However, 3 of the stories include subtle little untrue things. They don't change the characters or the integrity of the story. They are very subtle little details that you have to listen really closely for. And there may be not many of them, but you're hearing a true story, a true experience. Don't think that somebody's making up a bunch of things that didn't happen. That's not this show. This is after we hear all 4 stories, you will have an opportunity to question the storytellers and see if you can figure out their lies. And again, they are not obligated to answer honestly. They are encouraged to do what I just did, which is make up things and see if you buy it. And if you vote correctly for the person that isn't going to include any lies, you get a prize. I hope every one of you go home with a prize tonight, even though it's going to cost me. I'm okay with that. Okay, so our first storyteller is you'll see she hosts a show in Brooklyn called Just One More Thing. And she does shows. I just was in a show with her at QED last summer. I remember hearing her tell an amazing story. Please welcome to the stage, Tracey Starin.
I'm starting to realize that I have to do something about my depression after I've spent months lying to myself about what's going on in my life. I keep telling myself I feel terrible because I'm overtired, I'm not taking care of myself, I'm overworked, when really I'm not working that hard. What I'm doing is I'm sleeping all day, I'm staying up all night, watching Nick at Night, and watching marathons of Law and Order SVU on USA, watching the time tick by. I've mostly stopped leaving my apartment if I can help it. When I need something, I'll run across the street to the 24-hour convenience store and I wait till the middle of the night to do it so that I don't have to run into anybody if I can help it. Because no matter how well I brush my hair and get dressed for public appearances, when I run into somebody, as soon as they see me, I can see the concern in their eyes. Something about me is not right. It's not a minute into our conversation that they'll put their hand on my arm and say, "Are you doing okay? Is there anything I can do for you?" So I've decided that I have to start taking better care of myself. I so desperately don't want to deal with a doctor and a diagnosis and medication that I decide I'm going to pull myself out of the hole myself. I'm going to go out during the day and experience sunlight, and I'm going to do yoga, and I'm going to meditate, and I'm going to eat right. Maybe I'll even become a vegetarian. And nothing helps. And I'm so unhappy. And I'm a student at BU. I'm a junior at BU. And I don't like it here. It's so big and unfriendly and miserable. And my advisor doesn't even know my name and never really gives me any advice. And the school has so much administration and support staff, and it's not lost on me that a school with this much support staff lends no support at all. And back here in an analog world in 1993, if you need to fill out an application or drop off a form, you actually have to go to an office to do that. And at BU, no matter what office you go to, you're in the wrong place. And no matter what office they send you to, that is also the wrong place. And so you will spend the entire day, it's a huge campus, going from office to office looking for trying to get this piece of paper into the right hands and never doing it. And we all know about it. We laugh about it. We say, you can't spell bureaucracy without BU. And then we laugh because we know that we're doomed. And so you can see kids with manila envelopes and folders crisscrossing campus with a glazed look on their face, wondering where the pot of gold is at the end of this dreary rainbow. And so I have been thinking about transferring out of BU. I spent hours searching on the internet for schools that might be a happier place for me. But I thought, is it them or is it me? Is it my depression or is it this place? Before I make any permanent moves, maybe I'll go see a counselor at the infirmary. So I take myself up to Student Health Services. And I go up to the desk, and the woman at the desk says, "What can I help you with today?" And I said, I'm here to see the doctor. I felt like I was feeling very tingly, and like my face was hot. My instinct was to just run. I didn't want to be there, but I felt like I needed to be there because something had to be done. So she asked me for my name and my student ID. I gave it to her. And she said, "Do you have an appointment?" And I said, No, I don't. And she had a book in front of her, like a paper book where you write the names. She said, "You don't have an appointment." I said, "No, I don't." She said, "You have to call for an appointment." I said, "Well, can I make one now?" And she said, "No, you have to call for an appointment." And then she pointed through the completely empty waiting room to a phone. And she said, "Go to that phone, call the number on the phone, and make an appointment." So I put my book bag back on my shoulder. I walked over to the phone, and I thought, this is one of those BU things. And probably I got to call some central office that's halfway down the campus, and that's where they kept the appointment. So I go over to the phone, I call the number on the phone, and it rings in stereo. Because it rings in the receiver in my ear and at the desk where I just walked away from. And the woman who just sent me away from the desk answers the phone. And she says, "Student Health Services, how can I help you today?" And I said, "I'd like to make an appointment to see the doctor." And she said, "When would you like to come in?" And I said, "As soon as possible, please." And she said, "I have something early next week. Can you come in early next week?" I said, "I can. Do you have anything sooner?" And she said, "I have an opening right now. Can you come now?" I said, "Yeah, I can come now." And she asked me for my name and my student ID, and I gave it to her. I hang up the phone, and I walk over to the desk where she meets me with fresh eyes, never having seen me before. And she says, "How can I help you today?" And I said, "I'm here to see the doctor." And she said, "Do you have an appointment?" And I said, "Yes, I do." And she asks me for my name and my student ID number. And I gave it to her. She looked in her book where she had written it 4.5 minutes ago. And she pointed and smiled. She said, "Here it is." And she said, "It'll just be a minute. Have a seat." And she pointed me to the completely empty waiting room. And I said, "Thank you very much." I picked up my book bag, I put it on my shoulder, and I sighed. And as I turned to walk away, she gave me a small smile. And she said, "Now, was that so hard?" And I said, "I don't think all of that was necessary." And I turned and I walked out of the infirmary. And the next semester, I transferred out of BU.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Tracey Starin, everybody! That was loud. That was very loud. Into the microphone, because that's how much I love your story. Oh my gosh. There are so many favorite moments in that story, but I did not expect the line, "Now, was that so hard?" What kind of now, let's go to this theme. What kind of control freak is this woman that has like by the rules? I would see, her children were probably in therapy for a long, long time after. Anyway, the amazing Tracey Starin. So you heard a true story. There may or may not have been some subtle little deceptions or untrue things woven into that otherwise entirely true story. So just pack that in the back of your mind and get ready for the amazing talent and charisma of our next storytelling. This guy, you'll see his bio in the program. He does a lot of work online, digital television. He's worked for BuzzFeed. He's telling stories every night somewhere, and that's what I want to say about him. This is a true thing that might be surprising for somebody with as much energy as him. But if he watches any movie whatsoever in a movie theater, he falls asleep within 10 minutes. Please welcome Jameer Pond!
So I fall asleep at any point with 10 minutes, just 10 minutes or less. Not at the beginning, just at any point in the movie, in any movie, 10 minutes. Yes, that's very true. So I'm standing in front of my ex-girlfriend's apartment with a luggage and a duffel bag and my friend Mark. Listen, it's not creepy, I promise. Like, we're not doing a heist or anything. But this was the post-breakup of my relationship, and I was getting my stuff from my house. It's a very alarming time for some people because you don't know how your stuff is gonna look after 2 weeks of not being there, depending on how the relationship ended. Luckily, I had spoke to my ex, communicated, and I told her within the week I would be by to pack up the rest of my stuff. I walked in confident, still had the key, opened up the front door. It's been 2 weeks, but I'm looking around like I haven't been there in 4 years. Like, oh, they still gotta fix that light right there. And I walked towards the door, and I opened the door of the apartment, and my face dropped. I was in complete awe and disbelief and hurt. The apartment looked immaculate. How dare she not take this breakup as hard as I've been taking it? I'm looking on the floor and it's the shiniest wood I had ever seen. There's no clutter of mail on the table. The fragrance in the air was berries I probably haven't even tasted yet. Like, I don't know, but it was the aroma, the feel, and the energy. It seemed like it had been exercised. And I'm looking around and Mark looks at me and says, "You're gonna sleep on your mother's couch and not live here? You sure?" I said, "Mark, I made the right decision." So we etch out a plan. So I give Mark a duffel bag and I say, "All right, I just need you to take the jackets out of the closet, pack it away from me. I'm gonna go to the bedroom." He said, "Okay." So I walk into the bedroom and I head straight to my underwear drawer, because after 2 weeks at your mother's house, you run out of underwear. So I start going through underwear and packing it in the bag, and I stumbled upon my favorite boxers, the silk light blue boxes that say Dunder and Mifflin. She put me on to the office, like that was our show. And as I saw the boxes, I realized that I was at the home that I helped build, packing my stuff and leaving this relationship for good. And I started to look around the room and all these feelings came back. It was a lot of intimate moments. Yes, sex, yes, but also just a lot of intimate moments, laughter, joy, hangovers on Sunday mornings, anger, pain, cuddling, smiles, when sunshine comes through the blinds and wakes you up. I was looking at all of that, and I noticed a white comforter that had supported the relationship kinda with comfort, where we would wake up next to each other, and thinking that I now sleep on my mother's couch as a 30-year-old man, and everything happened and I broke. I started crying. One of those cries. Like very, 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 it all hit me. All the emotions, all the feelings. And Mark comes through the door. He goes, "You good?" And instantly, I just started bargaining with him. I said, okay, look, hear me out. What happens if we take only a part of the underwear, socks, shirt combo? I only need a little bit. I could come back, her and I could talk about it. And he said, "Look, if you're gonna be done, be done. Don't waste your time. Don't waste her time. Make your decision." And I stood there frozen, as tears coming down my face. He just started going in the drawer and packing clothes away from me. So he filled up 2 duffel bags and then went to the store and bought back 2 big black trash bags and started filling up more clothes, pajamas, markers, all kind of stuff, just filling this trash bag up. And finally, I filled my bag up and we cleaned the DNA of who I was out of that space. And we packed it in my blue Honda Civic, and we began to drive off. It was silence for a while because I didn't know what to say. But I thought about it. I said, why did you want to come today? It's a half-day Friday. Him and I were anchors on this NBC digital show, and he could have been doing anything. He was like, "You think you're the only person that's ever packed a bag before in this situation?" And it hit me that, yes, this was my unique experience, but this is not unique to other people. And he said, "When you told me what you were doing today, you said you were going to your ex's house. You came in confident. You were pounding your chest. You said you were going to, quote, close the deal today." He said, "That was me 20 years ago when I was in a similar situation. And I decided to come with you today because nobody had my support. And I know what that feels like. And that relationship meant a lot to me. I was with my ex for 10 years, 21 to 31, breakups and makeups. And I remember being in that space, and the last conversation we had when I was breaking up with her, she looked at me in the eyes as she was crying and says, "Can we make this work? I don't know what to do without you." I said, "I don't know what to do without you either, but I know I'm not happy." That relationship meant a lot to me. And going to the house to collect the things was also taking my stuff back, but taking my energy out of the relationship because I did not want to lead her on. I wanted her to be happy. And so there are little moments that I remember, of course, but I think the testament of true love and true friendship was how Mark really helped me out. He saw that I needed that, and without even saying anything, just said, "I got your back." I wasn't going to tell this story, but I was driving here and I saw my ex-girlfriend walking in the opposite direction. I said, I literally gasped like that. And I said, this must be a reason why I just need to get this off my chest. And I thank you all. Appreciate it.
Jameer Pond, everybody! Whoa, tugging at your hearts. Lovers come and go, but friends who will help you pack up your shit that's in someone else's apartment. That is love, love, love. That is a beautiful story, Jameer. Well, I don't know if this was intentional, Jameer, but did you actually say the word "my excommunicated" on purpose?
Yes.
Oh my God, that was brilliant. I said, he just said "my excommunicated," and I go, are we just gonna let that go by? We did not even register how brilliant a note that my excommunicated girlfriends. Let's honor the excommunicated girlfriend. Yes. There was a lot of special moments, but I was so focused on that, and I didn't want to forget to say it. So now, but I love that story so much. All right, so we are moving on, guys. So you may or may not have heard some little lies dropped into that story. You will have to decide for yourself, but you do have an opportunity to ask questions, and they may answer honestly or they may not. But let's get to our next storyteller. She has been on the Moth Grand Slam. She is going to be performing in Southampton at Everybody's Got One in the end of June. She's a wonderful person. I don't have any trivia about her like I did about Jameer, and so I'll make up one, which may or may not be true, which is that she had a really great train ride here. She had good travel today. Ronna, Levy!
I'm sitting at a bar. It's Chi-Chi's in Santa Monica. And I'm waiting to meet an old friend of mine, Randy. Now, I haven't seen Randy in over 20 years since we graduated high school. Randy was my very, very first BFF. We're in the first grade, and I have just moved to Boston from New York. And I don't know anybody in this school. I just started the first grade. I have no friends. And all the first graders were in the cafeteria waiting for the to get on the school buses to go home. And I just want to go home, and I have no friends. I just want to cry. And I see this first grader, and she's staring at me. And I just want to go home. And she's looking at me, and I'm looking at her, and it's like, we're wearing the exact same coat. It's this faux brown suede with a leopard print collar. Only her mother bought her the faux brown suede beret with a leopard print pom-pom. And I'm looking at it, and it's really pretty. And I've got this blue and white hat that ties under my chin like a baby hat. And she's looking at me, and I just want to go home. And she comes over to me, and she says, "Hi, my name is Randy. Do you want to come to my house sometimes and play jacks?" And by the next week, My mother's driving me over to her house after school, and we play jacks, we play chutes and ladders, we ride our bikes together. We end up going to day camp together. We go to Hebrew school together. And Randy tells me that when she grows up, she wants to be a folk singer in Hollywood. So of course, when I grow up, I want to be a folk singer in Hollywood too. And Randy takes guitar lessons. I take guitar lessons. Only after a year, my parents make me quit and take piano lessons. And when there's a talent show in the town, Randy is now playing the electric guitar. And I see her, and she's wearing a mini skirt and go-go boots and this electric guitar, and she's singing Good Lovin' by the Young Rascals. And I am wearing an orange pleated skirt with a matching orange sweater and my penny loafers. And I am playing a song on the piano from the Little Fingers Learn to Play songbook. And I look at Randy, and she's so cool in her mini skirt. And I don't want to go on. I feel like a baby. So I tell my parents they don't feel well, they know I'm faking it, and they make me go on, and I am mortified. But me and Randy are still friends. And when we get to the middle school, we start doing musicals. And the first musical we do is West Side Story. Now, Randy wants to be Anita, and I want to be Anita. And I practice, and Randy practices. And I think I'd make a really good Anita, but I'm not Anita. Randy's Anita. And I am cast in the ensemble, which is code word for loser. And I get to stand on the stage and watch Randy sing and dance, but we're still friends. In high school, football was really important in my town. Every weekend we went to the football games. And so Randy wants to be a cheerleader. So of course I want to be a cheerleader. And I practice and she practices. And I think I'd make a really good cheerleader. But I'm not a cheerleader. Randy's a cheerleader. And after the football games, everybody hangs out at the Dairy Queen, and there's Randy. She's got her little cheerleader skirt on with the spray tan legs and the bright white crew socks and the white sneakers, and she's smoking her Marlboro Reds, and she's always got guys hanging around her, and I'm standing in the back eating a vanilla soft serve. After high school, we kind of lose touch. And I go to the state school, I become a teacher, and I hear that Randy has dropped out of college, which I kind of wish my parents had let me do. And she moves to Hollywood, which I wish my parents had let me do. And she becomes a Playboy bunny, which is not what I want to do. But she's playing the guitar, and she's singing, and she's living the life. I mean, she's living the life that I thought that I was going to live, that we were going to do together. My dream, her dream. She's doing it. She's made it. So here I am. I'm at the bar. I'm waiting for her. I can't wait to see her. I'm a little nervous. And I'm looking at the door and I'm waiting, and there she is. And she looks almost the same. And she's walking in and she's all confident, and she's wearing this skirt suit and heels, which isn't exactly what I thought a folk singer would wear, but what do I know? And now I smoke cigarettes and I'm a little nervous. And I ask her, I say, hey, do you want to go have a cigarette? And she tells me that she's quit. And I'm like, damn. I finally do something that she doesn't. She doesn't do it anymore. We sit down, catch up, and I ask her about singing, and she tells me that she doesn't sing and play the guitar anymore. She's a financial planner, and she plays golf every weekend. And she met a guy on one of her trips back east to visit her mother, and she's moving back east to be with this guy, and I'm like, I don't even know what to think. I don't even know what to say. I came here to do what she's doing, and she's not doing it anymore. I don't even know what a financial planner is. And she plays golf. So we finish catching up, and we make a plan, like, we're going to meet each other again, which I know isn't going to happen because she's moving back east. We go out to the parking lot, we say goodbye, and she drives away in her little green Mercedes. And I get into my little red rebuilt Honda. And I light that cigarette. And I just sit there. And I'm thinking, like, ever since the first grade, I have wanted to be Randy. I have wanted her life. Randy was the leopard print pom-pom. She was the electric guitar, the Playboy bunny. I mean, I wanted to be her. I don't want to be a financial planner. I don't want to play golf, and I'm not moving back east. I don't even know what to think. And I just sit there and I'm just smoking my cigarette and trying to figure this all out. And it's not until about 16 years later when I actually do move back east and I settle into my teaching career and I reconnect with my boyfriend that I know what to think. I finally get it. I am living the life that I'm supposed to live. I'm living my life. Thank you. Ronna, Levy!
So sometimes you have a friend that knows all your stuff and goes with you to the excommunicated person's place, and sometimes you have a friend that shows you your life is your life, and that we have to be who we are, and that the grass isn't greener, right? The grass is our grass. My grass is a mess. And I'm okay with it because it's my grass, and it's my life and my grass, and it's mostly weeds, and I'm good with that. I don't know why I'm whispering. I just started doing podcast stuff. All right, so moving on. Our fourth storyteller is I performed with him in Tracey Starin's show, and Now You're Talking. A couple of times we've done a couple of shows. And Neil runs this organization called Theater Moves, which uses movement and performance with kids to teach them literacy and storytelling and confidence and self-expression and social emotional learning. And he's a giant among men, is what I would say. So please welcome to the stage, Neil Intraub!
It's 1980. I am 24 years old. My livelihood hinges upon these phone calls. I'm a performer and I have to contact presenters for work. And I'd rather stick needles in my eyes because they don't care. They get hundreds of calls a day. They don't want to hear from me. Plus, nobody teaches you how to sell yourself. Nobody teaches you this. I don't have an agent. I don't really know what to say. It's embarrassing. And occasionally, they hang up on me, which to me is like a small death. And it's really unfair because it takes me an hour to gear up for these phone calls. I stare at the phone, I'm afraid to pick up the receiver. And not surprisingly, my phone skills are awful. It's a mixture of like inexperience and nervousness, but my pitch is very weak. I open with, "Hey, if this isn't a very good time, just let me know." They say, "Yeah, it's not a very good time," and they hang up. It's like, man, I knew I had to improve my phone skills or I would starve. So I became a telemarketer. I worked for 3 months at Edward Blank Associates. And on day one, I walk into the lobby and the first thing I see is a big poster of Gordon Gekko from Wall Street with the caption, "Greed is good." And for some reason, they were pumping "Let's Get Physical" through the speakers. Some sort of motivation, I guess. Well, I walk into the office and I am so impressed by the diversity of the workforce. There are Orthodox Jews, Muslims, Asians. There are Rasta guys with dreads. It's a melting pot. In a word, it is America. And just like America, they forced us through the Edward Blank Associates deculturizing machine. We had a 10-minute orientation session, and I remember a very intense manager. He looked at us, he pointed, and he said, "Rule number 1, you are all Ned Davis." We've done a ton of market research, and we've discovered that Ned Davis is a completely benign name, absolutely non-threatening to middle America. So we had a room full of people with payas, with dreads, with Asian accents who were all Ned Davis calling with national marketing for Weekly Reader. It was surreal. It was the United Nations of Ned Davis. Now, I was excited by this because I had just completed my first acting class, and I just couldn't wait to sink my teeth into the role of Ned Davis. What was his backstory? What did this guy want? And, what were his goals? And also, I could hide behind him because it wouldn't be me calling, it would be Ned Davis. Well, he gave each of us our own partition booth, touch-tone telephone, with a stack of cards that had parents' names, their phone numbers, their kids' names. These were people that had purchased Weekly Reader in the past, and so we were hitting them up again. They also gave us these color-coded laminated sheets stuck in a very thick binder that had very specific descriptions of what Weekly Reader offered. Now, this means you'd have to be very nimble with your fingers to go like from the contact, cards to the laminated sheets without skipping a beat on the phone. It's not easy. It's hard to explain, but it would be like, hey, Mrs. Whitson, this is Ned Davis calling with National Marketing for Weekly Reader. I understand that your son, James, was in 3rd grade when you purchased the Red Reedy series. I'm sure he enjoyed all the wonderful word games and story excerpts. Now that he is in 5th grade, I'm wondering if you would like me to send you the Green series. The Green series has age-appropriate newspaper articles and story excerpts from stories like Rascal the Little Raccoon. And if Mrs. Whitson says she doesn't think she's interested, well, this takes us to the second key rule of the orientation session. Never reinforce a negative. Never. If you reinforce a negative, you can be fired. The management listens in randomly, so you never know. Never reinforce a negative. It's a good life lesson. So if Mrs. Whitson says she doesn't think she's interested, you never say, oh, you're not interested. No. You say, remember, there's no obligation to buy. Stops them in their tracks. It works every time. And so if Mrs. Whitson agrees to the Green series, it means she's agreeing to receive one Weekly Reader magazine per week for an entire year, and I get $10. And if she doesn't want them, she can return them because there's no obligation to buy. But this leads us to the third and final rule of the orientation session. Never volunteer that Edward Blank Associates will pay for the return postage. If they ask, then yes, by law, you have to tell them. But don't volunteer it. If you volunteer it, you could be fired. So to recap, we are all Ned Davis. Don't reinforce a negative. Never volunteer that we will pay for the return postage. Okay, here goes. Cleveland, Ohio. Hey, Miss Swinson, this is Ned Davis calling with National Marketing for Weekly Reader. She says, wow, you have a beautiful voice. I got really excited. And then she says, send me the Red series. What the hell? And I'm thinking, oh my God, that's $10 for me. I love this job. I'm acting. This is amazing. And then I call Seattle, Washington. Hey, Mr. Jones, this is Ned Davis calling with National Marketing for Weekly Reader. How's your day going? I improvised that. And then I said, I understand that your son, and he stops me cold. He says, if I get one more call from Weekly Reader, I am going to shove this phone right up your ass. Apparently, he had gotten 3 Weekly Reader calls that week. So we had the really bad cards, like in Glengarry, Glen Ross. And I just kept thinking, don't reinforce a negative. Do not reinforce a negative. So I said, remember, there's no obligation to buy. And he hangs up the phone so loud, it's like cymbals going off in my ears. Neil Intraub was crushed. But not Ned Davis. Ned calls him back, lets the phone ring 3 times, then hangs up on him. So lo, these many years later, I'm actually pretty good on the phone, but I do get nervous before each elevator pitch. And I have to dig deep and conjure my inner Ned Davis, because you don't fuck around with Ned Davis.
Ned Davis, everyone! I mean, Neil
I love that story. Thanks, Jack. Okay. So guys, you've heard 4 stories. They were all true and somewhat not true. And you had your work cut out for you to figure it out. But, you heard a lot of content here. So what I like to do is I semi-improvise a little verse just to catch you up about the content of each of the stories as best I can. First, they usually give me a synopsis beforehand, and then I kind of listen to it and go, oh, this will be better. And it may or may not be better. It's up to you. You'll decide. So anyway, so the first, but I need you to, so this is where you guys come in with the audience interaction where you get to ask questions. So I want you to kind of warm up to that by singing the chorus with me, and it goes like this. That's your story and you say that it's true. We've got a couple questions for you. So sing that with me. That's your story and you say that it's true. We've got a couple questions for you. Great. So after every verse, I'll lead you in a chorus. So the first story was Tracey wanted to be you and she was feeling depressed. She tried everything, but she was still really stressed. What you went to get for help, the lady had so many rules. She followed the rules, she got some help, and then she went to a different school. Well, that's your story, and you say that it's true. We've got a couple questions for you. Who was second? Oh, Jameer, right, Jameer. Jameer went through a breakup, and it was really rough. He had to go to his girlfriend's apartment, or their apartment, excommunicated person's apartment, to get all of his stuff. His friend Mark, I had this so good, but when his friend Mark went along with him, his friend Mark went along to give him emotional support, and this is what I wrote before. His friend Mark went along with him to give him support. His friend? I got it. I made it up before. Okay, his friend went along. His friend said, "You're not the only one to have a relationship end. So lovers come and go, but you just can't beat a good friend." Well, that's your story, and you say that it's true. We've got a couple questions for you. Sorry, I'm blanking out on things. The third story was by our dear Ronna. Ronna's friend. Ronna had a best friend. She was good at everything. She got the part, she got the guys, she could act and sing. When they reconnected 20 years later, it was 20 years since she'd seen her. And Ronna realized she's got a good life and the grass, it isn't greener. Well, that's your story and you say that it's true. We've got a couple questions for you. I got one for Neil, but it's totally out of my brain right now, so I'm tuning. Because I'm blanking on it. I'm usually a little bit better than this, you guys. It's been 2 and something years. Okay, Neil, wait. Oh yeah, I got Neil's now right. Okay, so Neil needed confidence. He needed to learn how to sell. He became a telemarketer so he could do it well. He created an identity. It had to be outrageous. Because nobody says no to Ned Davis. Well, that's your story, and you say that it's true. We've got a couple questions for you. One more time. That's your story, and you say that it's true. We've got a couple questions for you. Thank you, everybody, for bearing with me on that song. Thank you. Okay, so this part of the show, the storytellers come on up. And they're going, if you don't, we'll just stand, I guess. We usually get chairs, but we might not go on that long. And we'll have the house lights come up. And this is your opportunity, if you have a question, to call out a question for one of them, and then they'll answer it in any way Nick, did you change the banner?
Yes.
Okay, thanks. They can answer the question any way they like. It's up to you to be discerning about whether or not you buy their answer. So who has a question for one of these amazing people? Yes.
So Tracey, where did you transfer and how long did you go to the new school?
I didn't hear the second part of the question.
And how long did you go to the new school for?
I transferred to Harvard Extension and it took me a total of 10 years to get my bachelor's degree. Care to elaborate? I'd love to. Satisfy your okay.
curious about the 10 years.
Any other questions? Tread, yes, sir.
Tracey, what is BU?
Boston University.
Okay. You were right.
Neil, how long did you stay at this telemarketing firm?
3 months.
3 months?
Yeah, it was like a lifetime.
And how did you leave?
Happily. It actually, what's interesting is I'm, a performer and teaching artist, and promoting yourself is not easy. And I did learn, it did actually teach me a lot about confidence and about speaking on the phone. I mean, I didn't just particularly like where they were coming from, but it did give me some skills. It did give me some skills. I mean, never reinforce a negative is actually a good skill.
Neil, were there any women there?
You know what? I think I might have been in the Ned Davis section. I'm not sure what the women's section would be. So I do recall that we were all Ned Davis.
Jameer, how much older was your friend Mark?
Mark is about 17 years old. I would say 17 years older. Yeah, my math is correct. I was 30, about 16. He was 46.
And Jameer, how many duffel bags did you have?
Okay, so I had a total of 4 duffel bags, but they varied in different sizes. So, like, some were very petite duffel bags, but it was all I had at that. I was staying with my mom, so I had assembled, like, I had a big rolly, what is it? The luggage, and then I had 4 duffel bags in different sizes. Yeah.
How long did you stay with your mom, and where'd you go after that?
I stayed with my mom for about, like, throughout the pandemic. So this happened in 2019. And so probably for about a year, and then I moved to Jersey City.
Jameer, one more question. What ages were you when you were with the significant other that you entered the relationship with?
So I was 21 when we first started dating. We met in college, and officially started dating when I was 21. She was 19. So from 21 to 31, breakups and makeups in between, we were together for a decade.
Ronna, have you seen Randy since?
No.
And how long ago was this?
When I met her in California, it was in the 90s. And that was like 20 years after high school. And then I met her, and then 16 years later, I found it when I came back to New York and realized I was me. You know, that this was my life. I wasn't going to be her.
Do you remember what you guys ordered?
Just wine.
Just wine.
Just
okay.
wine. I was dying for a cigarette.
Do you still smoke?
Do I still smoke?
Yeah.
No.
Any other ex-smokers here? Yes.
Yes.
If it's true.
If true.
That's a good point.
Tracy, what did you watch on Nick at Night?
That's what
Dick Van Dyke, Patty Duke's show, Bob Newhart's show.
Good stuff.
That was the first time around. I didn't wait for midnight.
And the Mary Tyler Moore show.
Yes.
Well, any other questions, or your minds are made up that you decided that Tracey told her story with no lies? No. It was Jameer that told his story. No, it was maybe Ronna that told her story. Oh, it had to be Neil that told his story. So I'm completely flummoxed, and I even know who it is. So that's how good they are. So here's how it goes. Circle the name of the person that you think told their story with no lies at all. Sure, you mean in there, not you guys. Okay. You have to. So while they're doing that, let's have 30 seconds of the theme song, Jack, just to give them, when the theme song is done, in 30 seconds, we'll be done voting. There we go. So, nope.
Does anybody need a pen? Does anybody need a pen or a pencil? You know it? Okay, there you go, my friend. Oopsie. Oh, right. Right. Thank you, Nick.
Okay, here's what else happens.
Great. When we have the big reveal, and I know you guys are going to lose your minds because this happens every time people throw chairs and there's a brawl, and you really have to just not take it so seriously. I know how important this is to you, but you just have to control yourselves. I'm sorry, this is American 2022. What am I talking about? No one has control over themselves anymore. But we will try to keep it together because we're storytelling lovers. So what will happen is we'll have the big reveal, and if you chose that person on your ballot, this gentleman, this guy, is going to give you a prize. Do you want to show them what they'll win?
Thank you.
Oh, the beautiful and talented Terry Morrison is bringing. You get a tote bag that says, "My superpower is discernment," because you're discerning, and that's what we want. Great. So, and then we just have a little rep, and then you're going to find out what the lies were from each of the storytellers, and then we have a little closer that we like to do as a fun ending. So, I'm going to back off, and I'm going to say, would the person who told the story with no lies whatsoever take a step forward?
Boy. Oh, come on.
Well, Nick is keep your hand up, so Nick's gonna give you a tote bag, and then how about
everybody?
Tracey's gonna tell you what the lies were.
Oh, the lies.
Yes.
Junior. Did anybody have a guess?
Yeah, you have a guess?
Internet.
I'm very proud of myself right
Hasn't
now.
been invented yet.
The internet hadn't been invented yet.
Oh, wow.
Yes.
Transferring? No transferring was real. The other one was.
The phone?
No, special victims unit wasn't on for.
Love that lie.
Oh, what's
Special victims unit.
See you.
Those are all night watching Nick and I at special victims unit.
Oh,
that's a good one.
Epic line. Wonderful. Jameer, what's your lie about? You can go to the mic or you can stand by.
Oh.
Hey, I lied about the office boxers. I lied about actually calling my ex and telling her we went commando style while she was at work and just took all my stuff out. And what else did I lie about? That was I really cried. That was pretty much it. Yeah.
You want people to guess? See if they can guess?
Sure.
Let's see, anybody have a good guess?
The 3 rules.
What?
3 rules.
No, that was real.
That you all had to be the same name?
No, that was real. That was the whole point, yeah.
Gordon Gecko, is that?
Yes.
Yeah.
Wall Street wasn't out for another 7 years. And
Oh, good.
Let's Get Physical wasn't released for 2 years later.
That's very good.
Great line, everybody!
Now, these storytellers rocked it tonight. I want to say, I got to thank them so much. So let's have the house lights down and we'll do our closer. We close and open the show the same way every time. And these guys are going to stay up here while we do one last thing. And that's a musical thing. But first I want to say something that doesn't come out right. And that is, I want to say a thank you to every single one of you for coming here tonight. Thank you for choosing to spend your evening with us. Thanks to anybody watching on the live stream. We love you. And we are so grateful that you are wherever you are. And I hope you had some good Chinese food or something. Thank you to the Performing Arts Studio. We love this space. Oh my gosh. Thank you to slightest encouragement of any kind whatsoever. All right, so we end with a song that I wrote because of what stories mean to me is about how stories keep people alive that are gone. It keeps moments alive that are in our past. And not only does it keep them alive for us, it gives them meaning and helps us share them with the world. So we know about Jameer's friend, and we already love Mark, and we love Jameer, but we love Mark because of your story, right? So these things make, and Ned Davis, I mean, I'm in love with a guy named Ned Davis, and I'll not stop thinking about it. All of these stories meant something. The lady at the doctor's office, I will really be thinking a lot about her. But Tracey, I will cherish it forever, and Ronna's story, amazing with the friends. So anyway, this song was written about stories and about things and people that are past and how they stay with us through stories. And again, I'd like you to sing the chorus with me. When we get to the chorus, it goes like this. The story just goes on and on and on and on and on. To be continued, to be continued, to be continued. Let's practice that. The story just goes on and on and on and on and on. To be continued, to be continued, to be continued. You are geniuses. Let's start the song. It must be midnight. I've been sitting here since 4, staring at that painting that we hung in my front hall. We bought it for $1 at the rummage sale next door. On an ordinary morning, like 1,000 other days, when everything was changing in 1,000 little ways. A song is playing, it's one you used to know. I swear I hear your voice coming right through the radio. And I know this might sound crazy, and it's all just in my mind. But it's so good to hear you, and I think about the days when everything was changing in 1,000 little ways. And who knows when we'll meet again, and what might happen, but until then, the story just goes on and on and on and on and on. To be continued, to be continued, to be continued. To be continued, to be continued, to be continued. The song has special meaning in a way because the last time we were here, who knew that it would be over 2 years before we would gather again, before we would see each other again. And it means so much to sing those words with you and have the song, and it really did continue. It really did continue. So we're going to sing that one more time. And who knows when we'll meet again, and what might happen, but until then, keep changing. The story just goes on and on and on and on and on. To be continued, to be continued, to be continued. To be continued, to be continued, to be continued. To be continued, to be continued, to be continued. It's in your head now, you're gonna hear it at 3 a.m. when you get up from dreaming about it. It's called an earworm, that's how we wrote it. You won't forget it. Oh, you're welcome, it's an earworm. To be continued. Thank you for coming. You've been fantastic.
comment. Thank you.
Thank
You were great. Take an extra water, please. Take an extra. Feel free to take an extra water.
Yeah, it's good. It's good. It's a lot of fun.
Thank you.
Thank you for coming.
Yeah.
Hi, Marcia. So good to see you. So glad you came. It's great.
It was a great show. While I'm seeing, I was like, oh, I'm really glad I came.
You don't mind.
No, I do not mind. No. Okay.
Just as much as that's all. I'm here to protect the camera and the wire.
Okay. He's really great.
This is my great friend and Andrew.
I can't wait to come back.
To do it again.
Yeah.
Okay.
Take
Until
care.
next time.
Until next time, yes.
All right.
Nick, I have a question for you before
Yes.
I go.
Yes.
I know,